Let's run off an 8-color simulated process print on white and color shirts. And I'll show you how to separate the art. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel. We are printing 500 shirts with 8-color simulated process. Here are all of our shirts. A lot of them are white, but we do have some colors in there. So we'll be able to take a look how it looks on a white shirt and some color shirts. We've got a sand, some grays, as well as a Carolina blue. I have all my screens registered. Here's how the print is looking. And she is looking pretty darn good. I'm really happy with how the results are coming out. Didn't have to make any fine adjustments. And what we're working with is a white base. I know it might seem a little weird that we're doing a white base on white shirts. However, a good chunk of this graphic is white, so it still shows up. Then we are flashing. We're hitting it with black. Then we have red, a mono blue. These are all off the shelf colors. Lemon yellow, a bright green. This is the only spot color because this is a spot process purple. So we got purple. And then last but not least, a highlight white, just to kind of really give this graphic that whole watercolor effect. So let's dive into the computer real quick and I'll show you how I separated this. Let's go. Here we are in the computer. Here is what our client has provided. What I'm going to use is ActionSeps. I've got a link down in the description where you can grab that up, in which it will separate your artwork, and it also will allow you to do halftones as well if you don't have a RIP software. So this will be helpful for those that RIP software is not necessarily in the budget just yet. So let's dive in. We'll take a look. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to go to image mode. We are in RGB. So that's great. Let's go to image and image size. And this is the size that our client wants it at, 12 inches high, 300 DPI. So that's awesome. We have no other files open at the moment. And under channels, we have no channels, at least not anything that says alpha 1. And under layer, let's go ahead and change this from layer 1 to layer 0. And I'm just gonna double click on the zoom glass here. We'll take a look at our graphic. Looks nice and crisp, looks great. It's ready to be separated. So let's go ahead and we'll hit Start ActionSeps. Our steps are all finished. So now I'm just gonna kind of go down the line, take a look at everything. This is going on white and color shirts. Let's change the t-shirt color. We'll double click on it and let's just kind of make it a gray because we are working with some gray shirts here as well. We'll hit OK. Now obviously we're missing black in this situation. So let's just go ahead, and because this artwork is fairly detailed, let's go ahead and we'll hit create black detailed. So now we have our black separation. Let's turn on our t-shirt color. We'll take a look at our white base. Looks like we have some red, we got blue, lemon yellow, just kind of tying some of those browns and greens together. Purple, we have a little bit of purple just right here, so we're gonna need that as well. And then we have green for our text and this grass here. Turquoise, there's a little bit of turquoise in there, but we need to be able to keep this at 8 colors. But let's turn that on and we'll continue to move down the line. Cool gray, there is a little bit of gray in there. It does make somewhat of a difference, but what's going to make a bigger difference in getting this kind of watercolor effect is going to be our highlight white. And in this case, ActionSeps is drawing from the background. So we're going to pull out a custom highlight white, and I'll show you how to do that. But let's turn that off for now. We'll turn our highlight white off. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a proof window. So I'm going to click proof window here, and that generated a proof window over here. And we'll just turn all these separations off, so that way we can kind of compare it to our original artwork. We'll go back over here to our separations. Generally, if I'm trying to reduce the amount of colors I have, I'm going to merge either the purple, turquoise, or the cool gray. I think we can just nix the turquoise all together. So let's go down here and we'll click on merge turquoise. Now we'll go back, we'll turn all of our separations back on. And we can also go ahead and get rid of that cool gray, because we do have our white and our black kind of acting as a gray to an extent. So if I had more colors, I definitely would keep it, but in this case, let's go ahead and we'll get rid of it. So we'll click on merge cool gray. So now our gray is gone, but it took that information and merged it into our other colors. Now with our highlight white here, let's turn that on. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to hit Command A, or if you're on a PC, hit Control A. They'll select everything. I'm going to hit D on the keyboard, and we're just going to fill it with white for now, and that will just kind of get rid of that white highlight. Let's go back to RGB, and I'm going to click on Create Custom Spot Color. And so what we'll do is we'll come over here to where it says Color Range. We'll select this, we'll click None, and I'm just going to select right in this area right here where it is a bright white, and we'll take our fuzziness and we'll drag this up. And one of the things I'm keeping an eye on, because this area here where we've got some of these lighter tones with the yellows and the greens going on, I do want to be sure to include some of that, so that way we can put some white on top of it and kind of mute it down, give it that watercolor effect. And the same difference here with the white up in the blue. So we're just going to slide this over and we'll take a look at it. I don't want to pull any of the text here, so we'll slide it back to the point towards we're getting some of these whites up at the top, giving it that watercolor effect, but also to mute some of these colors right here. So I'm going to hit OK. Now if you look down at the bottom, it says custom spot color. So there's one or two things we can do. We can either just delete the highlight white channel altogether, or we can come down to this custom spot color, hold Command, or you can hold Control on your PC, and you'll get this little box around your pointer here, and we can click on that. Let's go to our highlight white. I'm gonna hit D on the keyboard, and all that's doing is resetting your default colors over here to white and black. And I'm going to hit Command D on the keyboard, and that's going to fill our highlight white with our highlight white color. If you're on a PC, you would just hit Control D, or excuse me, Control Delete, Command Delete, Control Delete for a PC. So now we're going to hit Command D just to deselect. We're going to take our custom spot color. We're just going to delete that. We'll click yes. We'll turn off the RGB down here. And now we can go back and kind of really fine tune this highlight white. So I'm going to click on highlight white, and let's click on adjust color, and we'll pull this back until it looks more like our proof over here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do, because we do have this simulated process stuff going on up here, but we have some solid colors down with this text, but I want to make sure that's a bright green and we've got a nice bright blue going onto this shirt. So let's go up to our white base. We'll turn everything else off, and I want to make sure that when we're printing this, we're getting a nice 100% white down onto that shirt. So let's take our square marquee tool. We'll come over here. We'll select this text. I'm going to hit adjust color, and we'll take our black selector and we'll come down here to the slightly darker shade right here, and we'll click on that, and that will give us 100% white fill, and we'll hit OK. And then we can hit Command D or Control D to deselect that. Now let's go back to our blue. Now I don't want any of that blue inside of my green text, so let's select where this green text is at. We'll go to adjust color once again. We'll take our white selector and we'll select inside this text just to get rid of that. We'll hit OK. We'll deselect that. Now we're going to come down here where there's also green in this logo. So we'll take our lasso tool and we'll just kind of select this area and pull the blue out. I'm going to hold Shift and we'll select this over here as well. And we'll go to adjust color, grab our white selector, select that gray, get rid of it. Hit OK, and we'll deselect that. And then last but not least, we'll take our square marquee tool. We'll select this text. We'll go to adjust color, and we'll take our black selector and we'll select this text here and hit OK. And then we'll deselect that. Now we're going to go down to our green and we'll do the same thing. Take our square marquee tool. We'll select this text. that is blue that doesn't necessarily need any of that green. Take our lasso tool and we're gonna grab this here. We do want this little bit of green up where this tree is at because we do have this light green going on here. So we're gonna be careful about our selection here. We'll just kind of draw around this stuff, adding to our selection, but we want to keep those light tones down here in this little tree. And then we'll do the same thing for this part of the logo. We don't want any of that to be green, so we have everything selected. Now we can come over to adjust color. We'll take our white selector and we'll select this text and we'll get rid of the green in the blue. We'll hit OK. We'll deselect that. Now we'll take our marquee tool one more time. We'll select all of this. And this is just kind of really isolating just this text, so we're not fussing with any of this other green going on up here. We'll click on adjust color. We'll take our black this time and we want to make this 100%. So we'll select that and we'll hit OK. Now we can deselect it and we'll turn our shirt color on as well as the rest of our separations. So I think we're looking pretty good. Let's turn everything on. I think the only other thing that I might do is just go ahead and choke this white base by 1 pixel just so we don't have any of the white poking out from underneath this green and this blue right here. So let's go to our white base and we're going to click on choke 1 pixel. Now that pulled all of the white base back by 1 pixel and it won't give us any issues on press. You can actually see how the green is overprinting and extending past that white base. So the next thing I would do is I'd go to save as a PSD. We'll call this BK Fest front. We'll save that. I'm going to save it as an EPS so that way I can bring it into Illustrator onto my registration template. So we'll go ahead and save that. We'll save it as a Photoshop DCS2. So we're all good to go. We just need to bring this into our registration template, which we have a link for that down in the description as well. Now let's get back on press. This one took a little bit more time, but it's just the nature of screen printing, simulated process. Some take more effort than others. Now let's get to printing. And these are all budget-minded shirts, and we'll get some close-ups of the quality of the print towards the end of this video. And as always, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to warm up my palettes. I already have some tack down. Go ahead and start warming this thing up. Once I get these pallets up to temp, we'll run these off. Okay, I think everything's warm enough. Let's have ourselves some fun, Shannon. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments about the results. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments as well. Until next time, we will see you later.